How important, you talked about running grandfather, how important is it, I mean, how much pressure do you think that puts on you?
It it puts a lot of pressure on me. I've had that pressure since I was a little kid, since I was in high school football. Once people found out I was Muhammad Ali's grandson, people would try to tackle me and talk more trash. They try to twist my ankle when the ref's not looking. All types of stuff. So it's definitely elevated. Being in a combat sport. I'm the only one in the cage. My brother's the only one in the ring. So yeah, it's definitely elevated, and the pressure's going to get even worse and worse. The target on my back's going to get even bigger as I continue my career. So I welcome all the pressure in the world. I don't care.
How so, about to put that into the question coming to a fight with them?
It's really cool. I love my grandfather. He's an inspiration to me. He's like a superhero to me. He's inspired me since I was a little kid. He's inspired millions and millions of people across the world. Um, and going to see Fifth Street Gym, I've never been there before, and I've heard a lot about it. So being able to be there in person and see the just his posters and just the impact he's made on the sport, like every day, like it's just amazing.
How about like your legacy to be when it's all said and done?
My legacy is, I want to be an exciting fighter. Um, Everybody wants to be an exciting fighter. That's kind of cliche to say, but it's true. I want to be exciting. Um, I want to live up to my own expectations as opposed to everybody else's expectations. Um, yeah, yeah, and like I said before, I want to help people. When I'm done with my career, hopefully I'm financially able to help a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of teens, college athletes that were kind of in my position or worse. So that's the legacy that I want to leave. Thank you.
Hi, Biaggio.
Hi, how you doing?
Congratulations on your current win streak. That's
Thank you.
awesome. So as amateur, you really had fast hands. I mean, you were persevering and I loved it. But in your last fight, you used a lot of your grappling skills and ground clinch and takedowns, and you were really very surprisingly great. Have you been working on those skills diligently, and do you feel like you're strong on the ground and on your feet?
Absolutely. I feel like I feel confident in both now. At first, I kind of wanted to just stand, but I feel confident everywhere. This is MMA. You got to learn wrestling. You got to learn the grappling and everything. So, yeah, especially when I'm fueled up and got my carbs in, I feel strong as an ox. So, yeah, super excited to just display whatever the fight takes.
Speaking of that, you train at Couture, Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, and you train with the likes of Sean Strickland and others. Do you feel like that has upped your game in a strong way?
Absolutely. Having a guy like Sean in there, man, like I always pick his brain. He's crazy. And every person that steps into the cage has a little bit of crazy in them, So I always pick his brain just to get the mental side of things. And yeah, yeah, it's awesome having him, Chris Curtis, Jeremy Kennedy, Maz Burnell, Kai Kamaka, like all these high level dudes. It's really dope to have them as training partners and mentors. I want to be like them someday. Thank you.
Yeah, you talked a bit about the Fifth Street gym going there. You talked to kind of the emotion over there. It was the first time you visited, right? And
Yeah.
getting to sort of be a part of this historic place that was so big for your family.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've never been to Fifth Street before. I've heard a lot about it. Yeah, getting to go there and see the gym and just see like all the old posters of my grandfather and other great boxers like Tyson and Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, all these guys. I mean, it's the history of boxing. I grew up being a huge boxing fan. It was awesome. It's a very like old school looking gym, kind of gritty, rundown. Is really dope. They got some old heavy bags in there, and I couldn't imagine who was there hitting it once.
You mentioned local boxing. Why didn't you decide to pursue it?
I don't know. I was just kind of drawn towards MMA. I love the idea of having multiple martial arts that could play a part in a fight. The judo, taekwondo, karate, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, Dutch kickboxing, boxing, all these martial arts could play a part in an MMA fight. And that's kind of just what drew me to it. I kind of looked at it as like a glorified street fight. And that's what I wanted to just engage in.
I think you got that. I could admit that man career play when he did that fight in Japan.
With the wrestler. Yeah, I think that was in 76. So yeah, in a way you could kind of say he's a pioneer for MMA.
Your brother, Nick, he looked like earning his career. He was kind of like you are now, where like he wouldn't be trash talking with TV.
Yeah.
But he's kind of ramping things up lately in those states. Have you noticed like a change in him? I guess since he had that little run where the results weren't going his way, it definitely is noticeable. He seems like a different kind of guy.
Yeah, that's just confidence, being built up more and more and more. Who knows where I'll be? Maybe I do start trash talking, but I'm not the type of guy to engage in it unless somebody's trash talking to me. But to me, trash talk, it's something that my grandfather did. I don't have to do it to get attention. Most fighters will trash talk to get more views and more eyes. Luckily, I'm in a position where just the name itself kind of draws eyes, so I don't really need to trash talk. I just speak the truth, and if it hurts them, then it hurts them. Yeah.
Just be proud of him for doing that. Because I know you've kind of been kind of adamant, because he's talking about you as well a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of saying, what's he doing calling out these guys who are about 20, 30 pounds lighter than him?
Yeah, just fight somebody your own size. I don't really understand calling people out that are smaller than you. Even when he fought Mike Perry, he had the size advantage. Mike is a stud though. He's bare knuckle boxer and did his run and different MMA organizations. He's a stand-up guy. So I still give credit where credit's due. Jake beat him and beat Silva, beat Diaz, all these guys. But I think that the fans would like to see him fight a boxer that at his size. And his marketing is next level too. You got to give credit where credit's due.
Last one, did you reckon Nico would beat him though?
Yeah, I got my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's good. That's what now it is easy to take more Nico called like circus fight.
Yeah.
He said in an interview, certainly it's waiting on an endless picture. You go forward, is that something that you will also take into consideration when not even just fight or just anything like when you've got surname, you've got something to protect it.
Yeah, right now I look at that as kind of like later in my career. Maybe I do some exhibitions or something like that. Kind of like what Floyd's doing. But before Floyd started doing that, he had a whole entire boxing career, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have an entire MMA career. I'm trying to fight legit MMA professional trained killers, and then once I'm done with my MMA career, who knows? Maybe I do a boxing exhibition. I don't know what the future holds. I always kind of just go with the flow. But it's still in consideration, but for later on.
It's new. MMA. So have you seen him in the gym in Africa? Have you seen him in the gym since his last?
Yeah, he's been in Extreme Couture, working with Eric Nixick. We used to train all together for pro practice, but now it's kind of split up where the 55 and lower are at a certain time, and then the bigger guys are at earlier in the morning. So, I've seen him in the gym. Sometimes when I go hit pads with my coach, I've seen Francis in there, and that just means he's back to work. So yeah, I'm excited for his fight.
And one of the great stories in MMA, everything's gone through. He's suddenly even more attractive to his son.
Yeah.
He's straight up from the gym, he's going to dedicate his career to his son. Does that again just highlight sort of personality he has?
Absolutely, it just shows his dedication and his hard work, his conviction and ambition as well. So yeah, I'm super excited for Francis to see him do his thing. He's the biggest dude I've ever seen with 4-ounce gloves throwing haymakers. So I'm super excited to see him, and his opponent as well is pretty good too. So it's going to be a good fight for the fans. Yeah, no, I'm okay.
All right, guys, let's pop over to Zoom. Anyone have questions for Biaggio on Zoom? Mike Pendleton.
Biaggio, you kind of just talked about it today, and you talked about it when we did our interview about making an impact outside of the cage. I think the PFL, better than any other organization, is involved in the community during fight week. As you continue to grow in your career and with the PFL, is that something you'll embrace with giving back to the community during fight week, kind of like you did at Fifth Street Gym, but even more so as you continue to progress in your career?
Absolutely. You know, those are the things that, to me, I look at stuff like that, like giving back to your community and helping people. I look at those things as good deeds, and I want to do good deeds. You know, those are the things you take with you when you die. You don't take money, you don't take your house, you don't take cars, anything like that. So, yeah, I want to just stack up as many good deeds and help as many people as I can, you know, before I die, because I'm not gonna be bringing anything materialistic with me.
That says a lot about you. And just one more for me. I know you're being calculated in your approach to your career, but what is the perfect plan, not only for 2024, but looking a little further into 2025 as well?
Perfect plan would be to obviously, you know, get wins under my belt, and get as much experience as I can. You know, I think everything is just experience and getting cage experience, and that's what I'm most excited for. And another thing too is I want to be an exciting fighter. You know, wins and losses. You know, luckily in the MMA community, you know, the losses don't really matter as much as it does in boxing. You know, in boxing, that whatever record and O is so important. And I think Floyd kind of started that kind of trend of being undefeated. But in MMA, you know, you got fighters that have lost many times, like Nate Diaz and Masvidal and stuff like them. Like, and people still want to tune in and watch them fight. So, yeah, the wins and losses aren't as important. You know, it's given that I want to win, but I just want to be exciting. That's the main thing for me.
I can't wait to see you on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe.
My ultimate goal is, you know, like I said, to be an exciting fighter. I want to give back to my community, not just in Vegas, but, you know, anywhere I can. You know, when I was fought in DC, I was walking around, you know, when I had some downtime, giving money to the homeless. I want to help people. That's the only thing I really care about, is helping people. And, you know, obviously when you're there financially, you can help more people. And I look at it as a test too, you know. So, you know, when negative things happen to your life, you know, it's a test from God. You know, how do you react to those negative things? But it's not just the negative, it's also the positive too. So, you know, you get a lot of money, you get a lot of notoriety, a lot of fame. That's also a test. What do you do with it? Are you gonna buy toys and act like a jackass, or are you gonna be righteous and help a lot of people and be a good person? So yeah, that's the what I look to do mostly. I don't care about being the biggest name in the sport. I really don't. If it happens, it happens. If it was written that I'm one of the biggest names in the sport, then that's what happens. You know, there's nothing to change what's decreed and written for everything that happens in the future, because I don't know the future. But yeah, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it wasn't supposed to happen. So yeah, I think for me the main thing is just being an exciting fighter and you know, going up to little kids. You know, little kids are excited to shake your hand and they're smiling and stuff, and stopping to shake their hand goes a long way. You could change somebody's life or inspire a kid to do something great. So it's little things like that. And I got that all from my grandfather. That's what he did. That's why he was called the People's Champ. Thank you.
Eli.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Ali, I met you at Fifth Street the other day. It was a pleasure meeting you and the girls from PFL.
Yeah.
My question for you is, any guys on the card that you'll be rooting for fight night?
Yeah, walaikum salam. My brother, or my teammate and older brother, I would say, Maz Burnell. I'm definitely rooting for him. I'm also rooting for Clay too. I've been a big fan of Clay for a while, and I love his striking and his just style of fighting. So I'm rooting for Maz and in Clay.
Thank you, sir. Hope you do well in this fight.
Thank you.
All right, Todd, bring us home. Todd, you out there?
I am. I'm just trying to figure out how to unmute. Biaggio, what is good with you, my brother? It is a pleasure to see you as a professional. You were just a lot of fun to watch as an amateur. I'm sure you'll keep that on. And you sort of you basically already answered one of the questions I have. And we talked about whether you'd want to be the man who's known for being a warrior, going out in your shield, or whether you want to be the man that's willing to be a wet blanket just to get the W. You know what I mean? And so it kind of brings me to this. We love Khabib, but we love Justin Gaethje. At the end of the day, like which one like do you like? Which one gets your fire going? And obviously, it'd be great to be undefeated, but where would you want to see yourself at the end of the day? Would you rather be known as the guy who always gets to win, guy that always entertains and is a must-see fighter?
I want to be the guy who wants to entertain, you know, I want to be the must-see fighter. If I get knocked out cold in front of people and it's an exciting fight, I'm okay with that. I don't care. I would just want to go out there and go out on my shield if I do. You know, if I get the win, I get the win. You know, I can't control the future. You know, I believe, I always rely back on my belief. I believe everything was already written out, but we make our own choices. It's kind of like watching an old boxing fight. You know, I can write down every single move that each fighter makes, and I can even write out the outcome and the result. But that doesn't mean that at the time they didn't make the choice, their own choices. So I kind of look at it like that, you know, with everything that's already written out. And yeah, you know, I'm the type of guy that I want to be exciting. And if I go out on my shield, I go out on my shield.
And honestly, those are the granted, you know, the undefeated. They live in legend and lore, but it's the guys that. I mean, look, everyone says it. Obviously, your grandfather, the O wasn't important. And so, and like you said, it's become kind of that thing, mostly in boxing, but also in that. And, but yeah, it's the guys like Gaethje that are always must see. Now we talk about, everyone asks about your training and all that stuff, but let's just quick talk about what do you do in your free time? You're always training. You're all, you know, getting ready for a fight. You know, when you're not, I mean, how do you relax just to get away? If you ever relax, what is your preferred method?
Yeah. Number one is video games. I'm always hopping on the game with my brother and my friends.
What are you playing? What are you playing right now? I gotta ask.
I play Call of Duty. That's my go-to.
Okay.
Especially Resurgence and Warzone. I play that, you know, that's kind of like my go-to. That's my escape. I'm not thinking of training or anything else outside of getting my load out. That's one of my favorite ways to relax is that. Sometimes I'll, you know, go to the mall, you know, look for some new clothes or something. You know, stack my closet up. I feel like I need some new clothes or new shoes sometimes. So, yeah.
Little retail therapy every now and again, huh?
Yeah, some retail therapy, maybe some window shopping if I'm not, you know, if I can't afford it. So, yeah, you know, those are my go-tos. And also food. I love trying different food spots in Vegas. There's so many different varieties and diversity in food. So, yeah, I take advantage of food. I mean, if you go on my Instagram, the only thing on my highlights is food. So, yeah, that's definitely, that's how I wind down.
Then I got asked, since you brought it up, well, favorite type of food, like what's your favorite restaurant? I know Vegas, you could literally eat at a different restaurant every day, probably in each genre, and not eat at the same one twice in a year. You know, what's your go-to?
My go-to is Mexican food. Comfort food is Mexican food, hands down. I love burritos. I love quesadillas. I love nachos and salsa. I love taquitos. I love guacamole. I love
how you cutting weight with all that, man? Jeez.
I know, right? Yeah, I try to just take advantage, but I like Mexican food, soul food, you know, barbecue brisket, cornbread, mac and cheese. I could talk about food all day. I was watching the Food Network for 5 hours yesterday.
safe to say you're a foodie and a gamer outside of training. Man, you're
Yeah,
always
you would
awesome.
never
to
guess I look
interview,
like this.
yeah, that's what happens when you stay in the gym, though, when you're not doing that. So
Absolutely.
I got to say, best of luck to you. Just keep on trucking, keep on doing what you're doing, keep being entertaining. Inshallah, all the
Thank
good
you.
things will come to you, my brother. Good to see you.
Inshallah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.